Hello everyone, it is Toby here. Today we have got a massive deadlift session and we have got the 12-inch axle deadlift. So I need to start setting up the setup for this. It's very simple, it's just a normal deadlift just off of these big bumper plates. Makes it bang on 12 inches, which is what we need for the Haynes Farm Open competition. And because it is a max deadlift, it means we're going to be doing a lot of heavy pulling over the next few weeks leading into the competition, and we're starting that off today with a big pull of 260 kilo for four sets of two, so lots and lots of doubles today. It should be really good fun, but it's going to be heavy, and with everything as normal, we start off with 70 kilo. But I forget actually with this axle, because I don't know if you can see, this end here is bent. You can't really see. It's like kinked in. So the plates get stuck on that side. So I actually need to put clips on the inside of the axle because the clips don't get stuck on it because they open up wider. And it stops the plates sliding over the bit that gets stuck, which we don't want, so we'll stick them on. And also, we need to put 5s on it because this axle weighs 10 kilo and every other semblance of plate mass is a bar is 20. So to make my life about 1 billion times easier, if I just add 5s on the inside, we get up to our expected weight of 20 for the bar. So with plates on, that is 70. So what do we want? We will stick one of the rubber bumpers on the inside just to make the impact on the plate a bit nicer than metal on rubber. Rubber on rubber is always a bit nicer. And yeah, this axle is a bit more difficult to set up on its own than a normal deadlift because we can't use the jack on it because of it being a raised axle, and I'm going to be very careful on this end because of the mirror. But this is where having a decent pinch grip comes in handy, being able to pick up these thick bumpers. But yeah, this is what we have. Lovely setup for deadlift, and I'm sort of just waffling today. I'm in here on my own, so today's session is going to be a bit more of an impromptu waffle session than the normal, highly edited, me talking to camera and then doing some lifting. We're just going to chat, we're just going to waffle. And let me know if you like these style of sessions better, because then I'll do them more often. But today, as I mentioned, heavy doubles on the deadlift. I need to get kitted up and start warming up, but it's freezing in here. And then loads of deadlift accessories, the normal stuff, get a big back pump. Weirdly, I know it's just the first week of the training block, but it is killing me. It is killing me off so far. And I guess that's because, obviously, with competition, you take a full deload week before the comp, and then you do the comp, and then you have a few days rest after the comp, and just do some sort of fluff sessions to get back into it. So that when you're fully flung back into competition prep for another competition, into a heavy block, then your body is going to take a week or two to get used to it. So my DOMs from the first couple sessions are ridiculous. My legs are really sore from leg day, and my triceps from log, which was the last video on this channel, has absolutely just roasted me. And yeah, my triceps are just brutally sore. So we're coming in to this session a bit wounded, but not really. But yeah, hopefully we can make some good pulls on this deadlift setup. I really like an axle. It suits me much better, but does take some warming up. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. So yeah, 70 always where I start. I just go up a plate at a time on deads. With these deads, weirdly enough, so my normal stance is about there. With these, I go just a tad wider because I can feel like I'm a bit more stable there. And I sit down into it a bit more and use a lot more of my legs for these ones. Obviously, I can't do that on a regular deadlift because it's so much further down. I don't have the space to be able to get down like that. But with a slightly raised one, I can, and I can recruit my legs a lot better, which is why this pulling position suits me a lot better. So yeah. But yeah, this is still going to be a very tough session, just because it is still a heavy weight on an axle that has absolutely no give in it, which makes it very, very tough. But all in all, should be pretty good anyway. The most important thing for these are making sure that you get your hands set the right distance on the axle. I've got a line to tell me where to stand so it's in the middle, but it's just about getting my hands in the right place. Obviously, you don't have that center knurling, that center knurling free bit to help you like you do on a regular bar. So it's just about guesswork, but also feeling it out, getting it right, and eyeing it up. So yeah, I even got that way better than I did the 70. So yeah, it's just about feeling it out. But we got 170 next, and then 220, and then we'll be into the top sets. So yeah, as you know, 170 is sort of where I leave it for reps, and we just do heavy singles from here on out. And this is where I sort of start to feel whether today's going to be a good day or not. I've mentioned that loads of times in all my deadlift videos. So if it moves fast, moves comfy, we're in for a good day. And I think we're in for a good day. That felt really good, as it usually does from this height. So let's keep going. Just as I finished loading up that bar there, I just wanted to say something that I was sort of thinking about the other day. I was watching another YouTube channel, and they were, as many channels do, going on about like the percentage of people who watch the videos and how many of them are subscribed and stuff. And I've never actually looked at that in my analytics. I'm sort of big on the numbers of YouTube for like views, retention, that sort of thing, but I never actually check, the percentage of people who are subscribed or not. And normally these channels, they go, only 50% of you are subscribed and the other 50% aren't. And it seems to be the sort of standard is a 50-50 split across a lot of channels. And I checked mine out, and it turns out that 70% of people who watch these videos aren't actually subscribed. And now I'm assuming that number has been brought up massively by the Pro Strongman stuff and YouTube Shorts and stuff. And I know a lot of you guys who watch these videos, the training stuff, are part of that 30% core audience who watch every video. But if you are watching this and you aren't one of that 30% who has subscribed, please go ahead and do so, because I'm sure it probably has some effect on the algorithm and whether or not YouTube pushes me to see if people, subscribe and come back. So yeah, this isn't one of those sort of like only 50% of you are subscribed properly like YouTuber thing. It was just something that I saw that I was interested in and thought that I'd share with you guys, as I often do with a lot of stuff. So yeah, I'm just going to throw that in there, that the fact it's 70% of people who aren't subscribed. Yeah, perhaps let's try and minimize that number. But yeah, 220 on the bar now. Final warm up before we head to the 260 top sets. As I said, 170 move really, really easy. So let's make this move like what 170 did as well. Absolutely fly, and then we'll be in a really good spot for the top sets. Nice. Lightning fast, feeling super good. I got a little bit too far forward, but nothing we can't fix the top set. So going to load up 260 now. Got 4 top sets. I'll film them all. I will take the mic off though, so I can really focus and not have this thing in the corner of my vision. So yeah, let's smash those top sets and I'll chat to you afterwards. Alright guys, so top sets moved really comfortably. As you can see, I actually managed to get the axle onto the deadlift jack and get the plates out from underneath, but all top sets, all 4 of them, moved and felt pretty much exactly the same, which is really good and encouraging, as it should be. I didn't even take massive amounts of rest between them either, just because I didn't really need to. I only ever take as much rest as I feel like I need. Sometimes I might rush the rest times a bit. Sometimes I obviously also take the piss and rest a bit too long. But at the end of the day, they tend to even out pretty well and allow me to sort of be prepared for anything. But what we've got now is paused deadlifts. Now, I could undo this entire axle, get the deadlift bar, and do pause deadlifts the easy way, or I could be smart, sensible, and leave them on the axle, make them maybe 5% harder, and yeah, train on the axle still and not have to load up a whole new bar. And that is exactly what I'm going to do. We have got 195 kilo for 2 sets of 1 to 3. I expect, of course, 2 sets of 3 on this for me. But yeah, leaving it on the axle, for one, saves a hell of a lot of time and energy, for setting up a whole new bar with a whole new set of plates, when I may as well just keep going as I unload the axle. 2, it doesn't really matter for pause deadlifts anyway, because all the benefit you're getting off of a deadlift bar or a slightly bendier bar for it slightly moving is completely negated by the pause. The only thing that makes it a bit harder with the axle now is just its thicker diameter, being ever so slightly further away from your center of gravity. But it's good to train difficult things. It's good to train slightly different variations. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to stick on the axle, 195 kilo, 2 sets of 1 to 3, paused a couple inches off the floor, essentially pausing exactly at the 12 inches mark where we're going to be pulling from in the competition, but getting that extra range of motion benefit from regular height deadlifts. So I am going to have a couple minutes more rest, then I'm going to do 2 sets of 3 on this, of course, filming both of them for you guys. And then once we've done that, we will chat about the next accessory. Well, they absolutely flew up. They moved super comfy, super nice. The angle I filmed it at looked like I was really hunched over, which I wasn't particularly. I was like maybe a normal sort of deadlift stance. I was in my normal sort of there, but I filmed it from slightly higher up, so it looked like I was almost doing deficit, which I wasn't. So that was why it looked like that, if it did. And this dumbbell is now in the way, because of course it is. Of course, the 50 kilo dumbbell has to be the one that's in the way. But now it is our old pal, Beltless RDLs, for our next accessory, which I actually do really enjoy more than regular RDLs, just because the beltless means that you've got to limit the weight that you do it at to protect yourself and grow a really strong core, and I prefer that than doing stupidly heavy RDLs with a belt on, because I feel like I'm going to injure myself when I do those. But with beltless, even though people are terrified of doing anything beltless, I feel a lot more in the desired areas where I'm supposed to feel it, which is really good. So once again, I'm not going to bother setting up a whole new bar for these. I'm just going to stick on the axle because it doesn't really change anything with RDLs, to be honest. Straps may hurt a bit more, but that's about it. So we have got 2 sets of 5 to 8. Now I'm starting at 170, which is a weight that I've sort of been there or thereabouts on Beltless RDLs for a little while, doing any number of reps around 170, 175. So I'm hoping that if I start at 170 week 1, and then maybe get a set of 8 and a set of 5, and then week 2, set of 8, set of 6, week 3, set of 8, set of 8, and then week 4, up it and go back to like a set of 6 and a set of 5, and just build up that way. We will see if it feels any more horrendous on the axle. I don't expect it to, because again, an RDL is just you lowering the bar down and then back up again. The fact it's on an axle has no bearing on how easy or difficult the lift is, because it's not like on a deadlift where you rely on a little bit of whip on the bar and you like it a bit closer to you. On an RDL, it doesn't make a whole lot of difference. So that is what we're going to do. But yeah, all in all, so far, really, really good deadlift session. I'm really enjoying it. I'm feeling good, which is the main thing. I was coming into this session, as I mentioned earlier, pretty battered and beat up, with my triceps really hurting, my legs really hurting. But we're coming in, we're hitting heavy weights fairly comfortably. And now I've actually got a bit of blood through my muscles and a bit of movement. I'm less sore than I was when I came in, so that's always a win. But I won't be saying that after Beltless RDLs, because these always light me up and absolutely suck. But we got to get them done. Well, RDLs done, and actually I managed 2 sets of 8 right off the bat, so that's really, really good. It means I can probably get away with upping the weight next time, which is nice. But yeah, they felt really, really, really solid, like really good for Beltless RDLs. I'd almost dare to say that Axel feels a bit more comfortable on RDLs than a regular barbell. I don't know why. Maybe because on a regular bar, there's that little bit of whip when you stand up and go down. It just like moves around a little bit, and the axle's very solid and doesn't move. That could well be it. But yeah, now what we have is the classic back accessories that everybody knows, and that is the lat pull downs and seated cable rows. I do these every single back day just to finish off, get some blood through the back now that we have absolutely toasted the rest of us, as in the glutes, the hamstrings, the quads, and the lower back, doing a lot of deadlifts and RDLs and things like that. The only thing left to do on what is essentially back day is finish the back off. So I am going to put the plates that are on here straight on to the lat pull down machine, do a few sets of 10 lat pull downs, few sets of 10 seated cable rows, and then we will call it a day. With the lat pull downs and cable rows, I don't focus at all on what weight is on the thing. I just stick 2 plates aside, which is about 100 kilo, but obviously on this lat pull down, it could be any weight depending on how much friction the thing decides to have today, because it changes every session. But I just focus on really putting some explosive pulling power into the lat pull downs and getting loads of blood into the lats. Same on the seated rows, loads of blood through. It doesn't matter what weight we do on those. It is all about getting blood in the muscle. No one cares how much weight you do on a lat pull down or seated cable row. I stick it on the videos of it just because people would ask if I don't. So I do. But for me, the reason why we don't try and progressively overload those is because by this point in the session, I'm pretty fried. I just want to get a decent pump through the back, a decent bit of weight on it. And it doesn't really matter if I am progressing every week on them. It just matters that I am getting a good stretch and getting some good work through the muscles. Obviously, if it starts feeling ridiculously easy in the future and I get that much stronger that it doesn't feel like it's working for the purpose I need it to, then that is when I go and add weight. But for the most part, 100 kilos is a fair bit of weight, and it's going to remain a fair bit of weight. So that's what we're going to do. I will film one set of lat pull downs, one set of seated cable rows, because they aren't the most interesting exercises to watch. They are the exact same every single set. So you guys don't need to see a million sets of each of those for 5 minutes straight in a montage. So we'll just get one set recorded of each of those, and then that'll be the session done. So sit tight. I gotta get those done, and then we will chat at the end of the session. Well, that is that, guys. That is the end of the first proper deadlift session of the new block for competition prep. Obviously, last week we did the mess about to see where I am on that axle setup, and we hit a massive 290 kilo. But today was the first proper working session to build up to hopefully getting north of 300 kilo on that setup at the competition, but at the very least making my deadlift a hell of a lot stronger. As you saw, it's just our normal deadlift day, guys, just mixed up a bit with the axle in there, because you know what, we may as well mix things up, we may as well keep things difficult. But yeah, I feel really good. I don't actually feel too battered at the end of that session. Normally at the end of a deadlift session I feel pretty ropey, but I feel pretty damn good at the end of this session, which is hopefully a good sign for the weeks to come. Now, normally what I've been doing at the end of these sessions, which I haven't really been including in the videos, is I will get the assault bike out and I will do either some intervals or just a hard, fast sprint. But because of the wind noise it makes and all of that, it doesn't make for great video, so I haven't included it yet. And I was going to include it in today's video, but I'm actually going to record the video that was actually last on the channel, the Friday talk from last week, after this, and I'm not going to get myself really sweaty and out of breath before I record that. So I'm going to wrap this video up, then record that one, and then after both of those are done, do my sprint. So I will leave it out of this video, but in the next video we should be seeing that, hopefully. I do want to include it in some of these training sessions to show that I do actually do hard cardio, because obviously every morning I do some light, steady state stuff just to get up and get moving, because the worst thing for me is if I wake up and I sit straight down to do work at my desk and I don't move all day. I try and get in here as first thing I do when I wake up, get in here, just get on the bike or get on the treadmill, just do some light movement stuff just to wake up moving, so that I don't spend my entire day sat down, which is something that when you're a software engineer like me or a desk-bound job can happen quite often. So I try to keep moving. But yeah, I do my hard cardio where I get really out of breath, really push it now at the end of my sessions, because I was finding if I did it in the morning, it would write off my morning. And especially with that bike, it blows up your quads so much that if I was doing that, say, before a leg day, I was going into the leg day with already fatigued quads, which is not great. So by doing them at the end of the sessions now, on the last dribbles of pre-workout still coursing through my veins, we managed to get some good, solid effort done on that, and then I can recover for the rest of the evening and basically recover as if I just had a slightly harder session. So I thought I'd waffle a bit about that at the end here, but as I said earlier in the video, if you're one of that 70% of people who aren't subscribed, please be sure to go down below and do so. It helps me out massively. It's completely free, and it helps you guys keep track of when these training videos go up, but not only the training videos, also all the pro strongman discussion and all the other fun stuff that goes on over on this channel. So please consider going to do it, but if not, go down below, like the video, and comment down below what is your favorite deadlift variation. For me at the minute, it's got to be anything with an axle. I know I said that it doesn't really make much of a difference, but the axle having no whip, being completely solid on regular deadlifts, you can feel it, and I do really like that. Just making it a bit harder, it makes me push a bit harder, and that's what I'm motivated to do at the minute, so that's why it is currently my favourite. So let me know what you guys like in the comments below. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I've been Toby, and I will see you in the next training session.